Welcome to our Ayahuasca weekend. I'm just about to make a brew, so I'm going to take you through the first stages of what we need to do. And this really comes up as a very popular request from the other YouTube shot that we've taken of ayahuasca making. So I'll go into a little bit more detail about the amounts and about the dosage, because we've been asked for that information too. So here we go. This particular ingredient here is called Banished Drops, and this is the one that makes it all possible, because this one here, which is a chancruna, contains the active ingredient which enables the person to get the connection to the heart and the healing, which is why it's so highly prized. Only the way that human physiology has been designed is we actually need to have this one to help us make this one work. And this one actually contains monoamine oxidase inhibitors, and what they do is they literally blaze the pathway for the cells to be able to get the full benefit of this one. There's particular foods which are recommended not to be eating for the few days beforehand, particularly not pork and particularly not salty food. And if you look up the more modern research, you'll discover things like broad beans and avocados particularly are not recommended in terms of interfering with the action of the monoamine oxidase inhibitor. So the first stage is to weigh out the ingredients. You need a pan like this that will hold about 10 litres of water. That's enough to do a proper brew. Some kind of a heat source, gas, open fire, electricity. My preference is gas for convenience, but open fire is probably one of the best things you could use if you have got the time and the patience for it. So to make a standard brew, I'm going to put 30 grams of each ingredient into the pot, and that's what I would call an average dose. And if I was to be preparing this for people, then I would actually make sure I do double the quantities, so that there would be 60 grams of each ingredient for each person. And what that means to say is that they can have the first half of the dose, and they may be perfectly happy with that, and that may be all they need. And if for any reason they feel that they need a bit more assistance, then they can have the second half if you prepare it this way. So therefore I recommend 60 grams of each ingredient per person, knowing that that's twice the average amount that's required. We're almost there at 60 grams. And the other question I've been asked is, where do you get the ingredients from? And the place I recommend to you is Organic Shamanic, based in Brighton. If you go on the internet and put in the words Organic Shamanic on Google, you'll find it'll come up straight away. A very reputable supplier of this particular commodity, has a very wide range of interesting plants. So now I'll give it 60 of the Banished Drops. And that's enough for 2 portions for one person. So what I'll do now is I'll fill the container with water, bring it to the boil, and simmer it gently for up to 12 hours. I may need to add water during the process. The important thing to do is not to leave it unattended for any length of time, because that way you've got no idea if it's going to boil dry. If it's boiled dry, you've lost a lot of very powerful, potent and expensive ingredients, so it's as well to look after the brew. Well, everything is now prepared for the ceremony. This is our completed brew. And what we'll do is we'll do a series of purifications and cleansings before we begin. We'll actually smudge the entire yurt with sage. Then we have 2 incenses. We have copal and a popanax. and those are very appropriate and conducive for this. And then as a last protection we'll have mapacho, which is Amazonian tobacco, and we'll basically heat all those up and allow the smoke to spread throughout the space. So I thought I'd say a few words about ayahuasca, because here's the paradox. The paradox is it's a really good idea to clarify some intention about what it is that you would like, and the intentions are all based around healing and the heart, for these are the areas for ayahuasca. Having said that, on the other hand, what one then is invited to do, what I invite you to do, is simply to open up to whatever happens and to expect the unexpected. That's really important. So it's a mixture of sending out your intention in a very broad sense for healing, and then allowing yourself to simply open up to what arises. The best bit of advice I was ever given was, when you've taken your drink and you're sitting there and you're quiet, maybe some drumming or some rattling, or it may be silence and maybe some chanting, during that time, that really is your special time. Just allow yourself to become aware of your heart, and if you are at all distracted by any thoughts, allow the thoughts just to go past, and then bring your attention back into the heart. That's a safe place to be. So this really is not like some of the experiences people have with plants. This isn't set out to create a high or anything mystical like that. It's actually for you to get together with the spirit of these wonderful plants, and to allow them to open your heart and allow the healing to take place in whatever way it chooses. Something else people find is they find they want to get into a certain position at a certain point, a certain posture. That's an absolutely great thing to do if you want to get into a particular posture, and just enjoy that posture while you enjoy the feelings. And the whole experience takes between 3 and 5 hours. And at the end we'll close the ceremony, and it's time to go to sleep. And in the morning we'll have Greek tea to drink, and before anyone gets into a car they'll be given a mixture of lemon juice and salt, and that's to cut across all the magic and bring them right back into the here and now of the three-dimensional world, able to function with ignition keys and the like. So I wish you the very best on your ayahuasca journey. Thank you.